So hey, welcome back. Back in the garage again, said we'd be seeing a lot of it. And the lighting's not that great in here, but it's the best I've got right now. So, with that said, we are going to look at the next thing in turning the little XT250 into the XT ADV, and that is adding a rear rack. I've got one from PM Racks, I think they're called, in California, American made. And we're going to fit that to the bike. Again, it's a pretty straightforward process. There's not too much to this. The biggest thing is we've got to pop the seat off, pop these handrails off, and put the rack on, and that should be about it. Yep, these are the people. So PM Racks. All right, so according to the instructions, my next step is to take off the side panels, take off the grab handles, and pop the heat shield off the exhaust. So that's what we're going to do next. That's the side panels off. Now we've got to get the grab handles off and that heat shield. I always live in fear of busting my knuckles on these damn things, and yes, I did. I guess it's a rite of passage. So I went back and read the instructions. You actually have to move this to get to this. Okay, so far the PM Racks instructions have not led me astray, so let's see what the next step is. Apparently I have to lay out the left and right hand brackets with all their mounting gear. So there we go, there's the left hand and right hand bracket and all the screws, nuts, bolts that go with it. Okay, let's do this side first. And there's no sticker on it, but oval to the rear. Alright. Let's try the next one. So this is the bracket, oval to the rear. Okay, so I had the tail assembly loose so I could get to that last bolt on the handrail. So now I got to pop those back in. There we go. Okay, so now the next thing we have to do is pop this on. And that goes like that. Fantastic. So I've just gone over the instructions again, looked at all the rack mounting hardware that I have, and it looks like I am missing two nuts. Yeah, I know. The jokes write themselves. But anyway, two nuts missing off the rear mount. So I guess I'll be taking a run to Ace Hardware to pick up a couple of nuts. Oh well, we almost made it. We almost got it complete. I guess we'll have to finish it off tomorrow. Okay, and I'm back. We have a slight continuity issue, of course, because this is several days later, but I now have a nice pair of nuts for my rack. I might need to rewrite that. We'll see. Anyway, without further ado, let's slap these nuts on the rack. Has to be said, they're a little awkward to get in here. It takes some finagling, but there we go, and they're in. Okay, now all I've got to do is tighten up my nuts. These jokes are never going to get old. Never. And that's it. That's on. Good and solid. So now all that's left to do, put the heat shield back on the pipe, get the plastics back in place, and the seat back on. Easy. On the Yamaha, there's 2 bolts that hold the seat on. First time I took the seat off, I didn't Loctite the bolts, I just tightened them. I mean, I can tighten things pretty tight. Then the next time I went to use the bike, I noticed both of the bolts were missing. So I'm not quite sure what that was about. So Loctite the bolts. I think that's a good idea. And that's it, done. I'm sure I made that look really difficult, but it's actually really easy. All right, and there is the rack, and as you can see, good and solid. All right, so to sum up where we are right now, the rack is on, and we've changed the headlight bulb, giving us a bit of power budget for USB. So the next thing is we're going to fit the USB outlet and make sure that that works properly. That's it for this video. The rack installation went pretty well. I bought this, I said at the beginning, it's a PM rack, precision machining rack or some such thing. I got it off of Amazon. It wasn't particularly expensive, around $100 or so, I think. It seems to fit okay. I mean, other than having 2 nuts missing from the kit, which were relatively straightforward to source. My local hardware store had them. They were M8 by 1.5 millimeter self-locking nuts. So they shouldn't come off. And the whole thing was pretty straightforward. It's a little bit fiddly getting your fingers in to get the nuts onto the bolts because there's a lot going on kind of in here. But outside of that, yeah, pretty straightforward. Wouldn't hesitate to do this again. It was quite straightforward. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video and we'll talk about USB.